Hello, can you believe it? November birthdays already. I can't even believe it's November. Anyway, in Old English, it was called the Blood Month, the Blood Month, because that's when the animals were all taken to slaughter. I know that you all wanted to know that piece of information, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. The name November comes from Novem, which means 9, and so this is the 9th month in the Roman calendar, the 9th after March. The flowers for this month are chrysanthemum, and the gem is topaz. Do you remember this song from your grade school days? I'm sure you do, but here is the second verse. I never knew this one before. Over the river and through the woods, trot fast my dapple gray. Spring over the ground like a hunting hound on this Thanksgiving Day. Hey! Over the river and through the woods, now grandmother's face I spy. Hurrah for the fun, is the pudding done? Hurrah for the pumpkin pie. Yeah? Remember that? I remember that one. Emily Dickinson has said, November always has seemed like the Norway of the year. I guess that's somebody who lived in a really cold climate. It's not that way for us here in Florida. In fact, November is such a nice month when there is not so much humidity. November comes and November goes, and with the last red berries and the first white snows, with night coming early and dawn coming late, and ice in the bucket and frost by the gate, the fires burn and the kettles sing, and earth sings to rest until next spring. So welcome to November and to our November birthday party. We have been celebrating with so many people the last few months, and voila, all of a sudden, November has only 17 birthdays. These are very special people indeed. From October 23 to November 1, we celebrate with Scorpios. That season is here, which means it's time to turn inward as we wade through Scorpio's very deep, reflective waters. The month ahead is a time to reconnect to yourself. It's a time when many people start to take inventory of the year that was and the year that's just around the corner. The last part of the month features the birthdays of those born under the sign of Sagittarius, November 22 to December 21. There's a lot of change in the air for you as 2020 closes out. November brings some early stirrings of new possibilities for you. Stay open to your dreams and ideas this month. Follow what inspires you and makes you happy. We have already had a very special day, and that was November 1, which was All Saints' Day. And of course, I hope you all remembered that your clocks fell back, which is one of my favorite times, getting that extra hour, so that we had the end of daylight saving time, which means that when you wake up in the morning to go for your morning walk, it won't be pitch black outside and make you think it's just midnight. On November 11, we celebrate Veterans Day, which was originally called Armistice Day, and it was commemorated the first time on November 11, 1919, which was the first anniversary of the end of World War I. In 1926, Congress passed a resolution for an annual observance, and November 11 became a national holiday in 1938. On November 13, it's Sadie Hawkins Day, so if you feel like it, you can chase some woman around the campus and see if you can catch her. It was not one of my favorite days, as I remember in college trying to run after my soon-to-be husband and not being able to catch him. Oh well, eventually I guess I did. On November 26, we celebrate Thanksgiving, and on November 27, we will all be into Amazon and other great sites trying to pick up those bargains on Black Friday. On November 29, Advent begins already. Now, to honor our birthday celebrants for November, there are two people in the Health Center who are celebrating. We have Yule Mills and Vera Olaf. Vera will be 94 this year. Congratulations to Yule and to Vera, and I hope you'll remember to drop them a card. On November 3 is Jenna Wilson's birthday. On this day, November 3, the headline on the front page of the Chicago Tribune was, "Dewey defeats Truman." Oops, that didn't happen, did it? And also on this day, Russia launched the first space capsule, Sputnik 2, and the dog Laika was the passenger in Sputnik. Other birthdays on this day, November 3, are Charles Bronson, the actor, Anna Wintour, the fashion editor, and Larry Holmes, the boxer. On November 6th, it's Gayley Thorsness' birthday. On November 6th, Henry VI was crowned King of England at age 8. He acceded to the throne when he was only 9 months old, but I guess they had to wait until the crown could fit him, and that was at age 8. In 1889, on this day, Edison showed his first motion picture. And other birthdays celebrated on this day are in 1854, the great March King, John Philip Sousa. 1946, Sally Fields was born. And in 1955, Maria Shriver. On November 7, now everybody's birthday is really special, but Dorothy Solano has a very special birthday. She will be 96. And John Delvac also celebrates on November 7. We've been missing Dorothy for a while during this pandemic and hope she'll be back with us soon. On this day, November 7, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected to a 4th term in 1944. Lewis and Clark saw the Pacific Ocean for the very first time. And in 1917, the Bolsheviks seized power in Russia. November 7 is an auspicious day. Other birthdays on this day are in 1867, Marie Curie. 1879, Leon Trotsky. In 1913, Albert Camus, the great French author. And Billy Graham in 1918. And in 1943, one of my favorite singers, Joni Mitchell. On November 10, we're all going to celebrate and say happy birthday to Nelsine Spooner. Nelsine is just running around here and she's going to be 92 years old. And congratulations, Nelsine, on this wonderful birthday. On this day, November 10, after searching for 8 months in 1871, the explorer Henry Stanley found missionary David Livingstone in Ujiji, Africa. And guess what he said, right? He said, Mr. Livingstone, I presume you all knew that, right? Other birthdays on November 10 are Martin Luther in 1483, 1919, Mikhail Kalashnikov. Now, why would I say that? Except that he invented all these terrible guns. And in 1925, Richard Burton. On November 11, we have another wonderful birthday. Bert Shepard. Bert Shepard, who comes to yoga 3 times a week, is going to be 93. In 1921, on November 11, Harding dedicated the tomb of the unknown soldier. In 1939, on this day, Kate Smith sang, "God Bless America," for the very first time. And in 1963, The Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show. I do remember that. Other birthdays on November 11 are in 1821, Dostoevsky, the writer. 1885, George Patton. In 1922, another writer, Kurt Vonnegut. And in 1962, the actress Demi Moore. On November 13, we're going to celebrate two birthdays, Edwina Hutton and Jack Winchester, who will be 99. So, I hope you'll find Jack and sing happy birthday to him on this auspicious day. Of course, Edwina's birthday is very important too. The Holland Tunnel opened on November 13 in 1927. And in 1789, Benjamin Franklin wrote, "Nothing is certain but death and taxes." And how many of us have said that saying many times? Other birthdays on this day, November 13, are Robert Louis Stevenson. In 1955, Whoopi Goldberg. 1967, Jimmy Kimmel. And in 1938, Gene Seberg. On November 17, we're going to help Gene Roberts celebrate. On this day, in 1863, Abraham Lincoln started writing his first draft of the Gettysburg Address. And in 1931, Lindbergh inaugurated the first Pan Am service from Cuba to South America. Other birthdays on this day are, in 1925, Rock Hudson. 1942, Martin Scorsese. 1944, Danny DeVito. And in 1944, also, Lorne Michaels. In November 20, Shelley Cohen will have a birthday. And on this day, November 20, in 1789, New Jersey was the first state to ratify the Bill of Rights. And in 1929, Salvador Dali held his first one-man show, which was probably an extraordinary event because his paintings are extraordinary. Other birthdays on November 20 were Edwin Hubble, the astronomer, for whom the Hubble telescope is named. He was born in 1889. Alistair Cook was born in 1908. Robert F. Kennedy in 1925. And Joe Biden in 1942. On November 22, there are two birthdays, Helen Mack and Julie Strickland. On this day, November 22, in 1497, Vasco da Gama, the explorer, sailed around the Cape of Good Hope. In 1718, the pirate Blackbeard was killed off the coast of North Carolina after he had a long and very prosperous career. And a sad note, in 1963, most of us remember where we were when we heard the news that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Other birthdays on November 22 are in 1744, Abigail Adams. In 1819, George Eliot, the author, whose real name was Mary Ann Evans. And in 1890, Charles de Gaulle. And in 1921, Rodney Dangerfield. Remember him? Remember, he used to say, "Take my wife." Yes, take her. Okay. On November 24, it's Stan Zielinski's birthday. In 1859, on this day, Charles Darwin published his On the Origin of the Species. And in 1869, the Women's Suffrage Association formed in Cleveland. Now that was an auspicious event, both of those. Other birthdays on November 24 are the President Zachary Taylor. In 1868, Scott Joplin, the great composer of rags and boogie-woogies, and also an opera. 1869, the fighter Lucky Luciano. 1946, Ted Bundy, the serial murderer. And in 1941, Pete Best, who had a short stint as the drummer for the Beatles. And on November 29, we're approaching the end of the month, and it's Andy Mitchell's birthday. On this day, in 1877, Edison demonstrated his hand-cranked phonograph. My sister still has one in her living room, a hand-cranked phonograph. In 1963, the Warren Commission began to investigate the assassination of President Kennedy on November 29. Other birthdays? On this day, November 29, in 1832, Louisa May Alcott was born. In 1898, another writer, C.S. Lewis. And in 1927, Vince Scully. And I bet a lot of you know about his career too. Our last birthday in November 30 is Diane Anderson. On November 30 in 1487, the first German beer purity law was passed. And what this law said was, a beer cannot have anything in it except these three things: water, malt, and hops. And I think that still exists today. In 1753, Benjamin Franklin won a medal for his curious experiments on electricity. On November 30, we also celebrate these birthdays of famous people. In 1667, Jonathan Swift was born. 1835, Mark Twain. 1874, Winston Churchill. In 1924, Shirley Chisholm. And in 1929, Dick Clark. Yes, I'm sure you all listened to Dick Clark as you were growing up too. Now it's time for us to sing happy birthday to all these wonderful birthday folks in the month of November.